Kia ora Year 10, welcome to this quick video going over significant figures. So we did this in class already, so this is a review video, but hopefully it should fill in some gaps. So remember we talked about how many people had gone to the Sevens in Wellington and the idea of accuracy. So significant figures is a way of deciding how accurate the information you're being given is. So if we look at a number like 507, we can think about what each of the digits in that number represent. Well, the 5 means 5 hundreds. The 0 means that there were no tens. And the 7 means that there were 7 ones. So you can think of each of those digits as being meaningful. So 507 has 3 significant figures. Let's look at some more examples and get the big ideas. So here are 4 examples. I'm going to go through them. You may like to pause the video now and have a go based on what we did in class. So number 1 is 593.7. So this is an easy one. There are 4 digits that are not 0. Each of them is conveying a value. So the first one has 4 significant figures. In the next one, we have 504. So each of those numbers is conveying a value. There are no tens. So this one has 3 significant figures. If you think about how accurate that 504 might be, we'll put 504 here. Well, the biggest that number could be, to be rounded to 504, would be just below 504.5. And the smallest it could be is 503.5. So that's telling me that I've got 3 significant figures. Now, the next 2 are a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to insert a new slide to do number 3 and 4. So number 3 is 390, and number 4 is 39.0. So 390 could mean exactly 390, in which case the number is somewhere between 390.5 and 389.5, right? So just below 390.5. So that would mean it was a number with 3 significant figures. But it's quite possible that that 390 has been rounded from somewhere between 385 and 395, just below it. So the least number of significant figures, which is what we usually think about, is 2. So 390 has 2 significant figures, unless we have some information from the context to tell us that it is exactly 390 people, not 391 or 389. Now the next number is 39.0. In this case, the fact that there's a decimal point followed by a 0 is conveying information that there are no tenths. So in this case, the 0 is a significant figure. So zeros that follow the decimal point after some other digits are significant. So 39.0 has 3 significant figures. Because if we think about where that's come from, we know that if it was 39.05, it would be rounded up to 39.1. So if you can think of the next number onwards as having 3 digits, then this has 3 significant figures. Let's try some practice ones now. Okay, how many significant figures in these numbers? Well, in the first one, the first digit working in this direction that isn't 0 is 2. So this number's got 2 hundredths and 3 thousandths. So it's got 2 significant figures. Now the next number has 2 hundredths, 3 thousandths, no 10 thousandths, and 2 very small 100 thousandths. So in this case, we've got 4 digits that are not 0. So this one has 4 significant figures. Now the last number, again, has a 0 at the end. And because someone has bothered to write that 0 down, it means that we're getting information that there really is nothing in that tiny 10 thousandths column. So this number has 1, 2, 3 significant figures. Let's practice one more slide. Okay, so we're looking here for the least number of significant figures in these numbers. So the first number is 260,000. Now it could have as many as 6 significant figures if this was an exact count. For example, a census of everyone living in Wellington. And the number might turn out to be exactly 260,000. But usually if we see a number like 260,000, it's been rounded. And it's been rounded so that it has 2 significant figures. Same idea in number 2. It could be 5 significant figures, but it's likely that it's been rounded to the nearest 10 and it's got 4 significant figures. In the third example, we know that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. Okay, so the zeros in the middle mean something. They mean that there is exactly no tenth, 0 tenths and 0 hundredths. So here we've got 4 significant figures. Okay, so that's how we count significant figures in a number. In the next video we're going to look at how we round to significant figures.